Art, and what we're looking at is creating a line design image over the top of some kind of already existing image. In this couple examples you can see posted to our page include a camera, an eagle, and a sandwich. So this can be the most simple or basic of image, or it can be something more complex like a character, an animal, something along those lines. For my example piece that I'm going to start right now, I had decided I was going to do a pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. So I think I found a good image here that I'm going to borrow, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that image, go over to Photoshop Elements, create a new blank file. I should already have the correct dimensions in here for this particular image that I've copied. And so when I go ahead and paste in, I should have the image just as I need it. And so what I'm going to do with this at the start is I'm going to lock this layer, because this layer is going to be my kind of reference point. Don't need anything else to happen on that layer. What we're going to do over the top is start to essentially outline some of the contours of this object with our paintbrush tool. And so we're going to take the paintbrush and experiment with a few different brushes. I like to think that each different section of the sunglasses could be a different brush. So I've started with kind of this kind of sideways brush here. Turn up the speed, not the speed, but the size a little bit, and let's pick a color to kind of start getting into this with. We'll start with kind of like a lighter blue shade, and what this part will be is I'm just going to kind of draw lines that fit right in between the parts of the kind of earpiece here. And I'm just kind of repeating this sort of line pattern throughout all the way to the bottom, and maybe even just kind of curve with that there. Now if I want to clean that up, I can zoom in and break out my eraser tool and kind of clean up the edge of that a little bit, so that looks pretty good. And I could also kind of clean up these little bits while I'm at it, and that looks pretty good. And as you keep going, you want to kind of check out what you got. You can turn off visibility on your layer of whatever your object is. And so I'm going to keep on going here. Maybe choose a different brush, maybe like a solid shape brush for this one. I want to turn down my size just a little bit, and that seems like it'll work. And I want to have another kind of shape here in the sunglass area. And so I'm going to change this color again, maybe something that contrasts a little more, like a lime green. And again, just any kind of a different line or design that you can come up with to fill this space here. So I'm going ahead and just kind of making a sort of zigzag design in this space and filling those up. And I will go ahead and kind of continue this sort of like a design going into the other lens as well. And again, try and be creative with your lines and kind of doing different designs with them, making them angle in different ways. It does not matter if they are perfectly straight or not. The objective here is mainly to compose an image of different lines rather than using the photograph that we have. So there we go, we got some good progress going. I'm going to change my color again, change my brush type one more time. Maybe this time I will dig into some of my other brush menus and see what I have. This is an interesting shape here, kind of this diamond type brush line. This is an interesting design that I could possibly use. So I'm going to turn up the size a little bit, and let's see, maybe I can use this over the top part here of the sunglasses, just kind of repeatedly going along the edge of the top part here. And I could kind of maybe stagger these however much you need to use a brush in order order to get the edge that you need. And so that looks pretty good for that. Maybe I'll just take this down a bit and make it a little lighter, or actually maybe I'll go with darker. Go a little darker, and I'll continue to use the same line and go along the front of the glasses as well. And maybe I'll turn down the size a little bit for the skinny parts. So as I get into these parts here, you can see the lines are overlapping a little bit, which is a-okay. Just kind of going to keep trucking. And again, just going to keep filling up this kind of front shape with brush lines until I feel that I've sufficiently covered the area. And we can always go back later and erase any bits that might have fallen off of the edges. Some of these right here I'll probably go back and clean up. A couple more spots in here I wanted to hit. So I'm going to try and turn this off and see what I've got, and you can see it making pretty good progress now. And hi, Kitty wants to get in the video for a second here. So alright, so moving on into the next portion, I'm going to go over into the other kind of ear headpiece, and change my brush again. Wow, really persistent cat here. Alright, so let's take another brush. Let's see here, another shape, another kind of oval calligraphy brush, and maybe this one will do. And it's going to be a bit big, so I'll just turn it down a tad. And I'm going to go into this other side here with another sort of a line design. And make sure that each different part of your object is a different type of line, different color, and really look for loud, bright colors so that things really stand out. And there's a pretty good result. You know, and this could be used for a logo of some kind. It could just be a piece of kind of line painting art that you're creating. I might add in just a couple other parts if I really want to make this finished. I might take something like this brush here. Let's turn down the size a bit, and I could include kind of these two areas for those two kind of little spots at the ends of the lenses where they kind of screw in. The other thing maybe I would do is maybe an edge along the top edges of these, because I can kind of see that plane right there. So I might take my eyedropper tool really quick, take a sample of that color, and then take my brush tool again and maybe turn down the size of this brush so it's really small, and then do some kind of like a line edge that goes above the very top of this part of the sunglass. I got a little wobbly on the last part of that, but I can smooth it out. And then the other thing that is great about Photoshop is we can zoom in and take care of that edge a little bit better. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Smoothing that out a little bit more. As I'm trying to scroll over here, it's taking a little while because I'm zoomed in very close. And that's great, it just keeps running away from me. Alright, but now I have kind of cornered it. I'm going to nail this top edge down all the way along here and get this nice and pretty. Alright, now I can zoom out. We'll shut this off, see what we've got, and you know, I may or may not keep that line in. I think it might look better without it. It might look better with another line underneath the edge, but that is all something that you can figure out more as you go ahead with your own project. So here is my example, and I hope that you have much luck with your own.